eRank.
Oh, hello. Hi, eRank team.
Away.
I'm Starla, manager of eRank.
I was going to wear that hat.
And with us today, we have...
Wait, I don't have anything that I could Brian with.
Yeah, don't even threaten, because I had a friend do that to me once and I ended up gluing a wool beard on with eyelash glue. And my needle felt and supplies, but I'm not going to.
Just for everyone to know, they had no idea this was happening.
And this was not.
I had a different costume on about 17 seconds ago.
Yep, that was very evil of him.
He got up and I thought he was
Phantom of the Opera 2 minutes ago, and now he's Starla.
I thought he was getting up and going to the bathroom.
Nope. Hey, I'm Starla.
What do you?
No one told me, and I don't match. I feel so bad.
Oh, that would have been so funny as if you both came up. Now the question, Brian, is: did you already have the wig on hand, or was this? Oh my! Or was this like thought about?
This was thought about the moment that you said that, like we agreed last week that I was going to be on this week. That's when my plan came into action, and I've been laughing about it all week, which means I knew it was funny.
So no one else knew about this?
No, just Mandy.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. That's the funniest thing that I think's ever happened on an eRank stream.
And don't forget, I know that we're going to talk about a lot of eRank and Etsy stuff today, but also don't forget to pick up my book. It's available on Amazon or anywhere that that good books are sold.
Oh my god. Have you now the real question is, Brian, have you read my book?
I have not read your book.
You got to read it. Well, that's okay, because the second one's nowhere near done, and we're going on 3 years since I finished the first one. So oh my goodness.
In about a month, we're opening up for HA. We're going to...
So you've literally just been stalking Starla and buying all her stuff in the past week, then.
Oh my god. Is there anything else? Are there any more surprises before he's looking at me?
I don't think so. I don't remember. No.
Well, that was unexpected and hilarious, and I'm gonna tell everybody.
And well worth the effort.
If you've been giggling about it for a whole week, I think that's brilliant. So I said, are we going to have trick or treats? And here's your treats, guys.
That's perfect. I think that it's hard to it's very hard to theme an Etsy stream around Halloween, and I know that because the Friday Bean tomorrow. I just got done telling Brian and Pam, I'm like, if I seem distracted, it's because I'm working on the Friday Bean. I started working on the Friday Bean at about 7 a.m. and I've been working on the Friday Bean all day because I had this very ambitious idea, and then everything started going wrong. So
it's a great idea. I look forward to seeing it. It sounds really good. If I'm not good, you can totally pull it off. It's whether your computer can pull it off. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, we have to do a lot of testing and checking tonight to make sure everything works. All right. Well,
we have a lot to talk about today. So much has been going on. The earnings call earlier this week. Etsy's made a few changes, and we're gonna look into all of them.
I'm still laughing. I'm still laughing. All right.
Love it, you big
child. My glasses are not anti-glare, unfortunately. That's the one thing I missed out on there.
Yeah, that is something that I made sure to do when I got new glasses, because all of my videos, all you could see was like I looked like I was possessed or something.
Oh, and they're steaming up.
Yes,
yeah. Apparently.
I hope that those aren't prescription frames. No. Okay.
You'd have a headache by the end of the stream.
That is true.
All right. Well, I'm going to be totally honest with you guys. I did not get to catch the investors call. Apparently, I didn't miss much. The only thing I did catch was obviously the Josh Silverman info. So everybody in the chat, I'm going to be
Yeah.
here learning along with you. I'm excited to, I'm excited to see, but at the same time, I kind of already know that Q3 probably was not super fantabulous.
It could have been better for sure. Yeah.
I
But guys, what you don't know, myself and Starla were in an epic 2-hour meeting and she dropped the Josh news and I was stuck in the meeting and couldn't go and check it out. I'm like, no, this is more important. Can we leave and do all of this?
That's how it felt too. And I thought about it. And when we were in the meeting, I remember thinking to myself, either Pam is super excited to announce this herself and I'm stealing her thunder, or she has no idea, in which case I feel like I need to say something so that she's not sitting in the dark.
Oh, absolutely. I was like, can we get off the call now? I've got to look into this. Okay, let's get off this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if anyone wants a roundup of the call, there we go. That's it. Sadly, pretty much. But we will go into as much of it as you'll want, and also the updates, couple of updates that Etsy have done that everybody's talking about. We'll have to cover that as well.
But also with Q3 being down, we were like, Josh did inform everyone in advance, like at the very beginning of the year, that Q3 would be horrible.
Yeah. It did better than they predicted. So although it's horrible, we kind of knew it was going to be horrible.
Yeah.
And for the TLDR for at the end, what they're predicting for Q4 is very unpredictable, which I think is a fair. It didn't tell us much, but I think it's fair. I don't think anyone in the industry knows what's about to happen for Q4.
Yeah. I mean, I've definitely seen sellers saying that things seem to be picking up. What I've kind of noticed is that the sellers who sell well, who tend to sell well, who are used to getting decent sales, they seem to be the ones that are saying, oh yeah, things are getting better, like sales are picking up. But the ones who are kind of newer, who don't have like that positive track record, they're still sitting around saying like, okay, it's almost time, why hasn't traffic picked up? And I really think that it is because, of all the things that Etsy has said that they were going to start prioritizing in search, which is shops that are, unique. I think that there's a lot of sellers out there that have a lot of competition, and some of your competitors are just more established than you, and they're the ones who are occupying that, premium space at the top of search pages.
Sadly, it makes sense, doesn't it, that the big guys get the share to start with. They're in the great position, so they're going to start to pick up the sales. And then what we find is, as things get busier, there's more people searching, so Etsy has to spread the net a bit wider and show to us littler guys a little bit more as well.
And that's also, we're copying those big stores, because a lot of smaller sellers think that they should be copying them in their photo style, in their tags and everything. It's this that makes that not worth it.
Exactly.
Etsy wanting to show those unique items means that your item won't be shown if it's too similar to those big sellers.
What is Brian supposed to be?
I'm just, a manager at eRank.
Promoted himself and everything.
But yeah, I'm optimistic for a lot of sellers, but I also advise anybody who hasn't already been, don't expect this to be like a record-breaking year if you're a small seller, if you're a new seller. Obviously, there are things that you can do to help. If you already are going into the holiday season knowing that you are not going to be prioritized in search because there are bigger sellers who are likely going to be occupying those spaces, well, maybe that's something that you work towards, for a couple years. Unfortunately, search placement, it takes a while because you have to build that good credibility with Etsy. But what you can do a lot faster is some social media marketing. I feel like that's a great way to get, and I know it sucks. Nobody likes to do social media. TikTok in particular, I started a new business in the summer and I've kind of abandoned it. But just in like the 3 weeks that I had started my TikTok account, I posted every single day. I was up to like 1,000 followers on TikTok and with constant engagement just because I was persistent. And it takes a lot of time, but 1,000 in a couple weeks, that's not too shabby.
Really good. But I will be harsh, guys, like for the additional traffic that's coming in or for social media or anything, you have to have good stuff. That's the harsh thing. When there's more people coming in to buy and Etsy's got more people to show things to, it still holds. If Etsy shows your item and the customers aren't buying it, they'll show other people who are doing better. So look at what's out there and selling, look at what's doing well on TikTok, look at what's doing well on whatever your social media is, and make sure your stuff stands up well. It's a harsh thing, but we see it all the time. People will go, why isn't my stuff selling? This other shop that's the same as mine is selling loads. And you have to kindly say, have you compared yourself properly to them? This guy looks like Tiffany and you don't is the nicest thing. You can't expect the great results. You get the results based on how good your items is once they're seen as well, unfortunately.
Yeah. See, people still cracking up.
And with newer shops, if this is your first Christmas, this is where you will see a jump in sales, even if you are a smaller shop. You're not going to get astronomical sales because you're still new. You might, but more likely you won't get astronomical sales because you are new, you're not established in the field yet, all that type of stuff. But you will see an increase in traffic and hopefully an increase in sales as well, just because there are more people shopping. Whether you're holding a sale for Black Friday, Cyber Monday or not, there's more people generally shopping, which means you have more chances of being found. Unfortunately, this season is starting a bit later. Where Christmas shopping, it kind of had a little jump start in the middle of October and then started going down again. But the first week of November is usually where we start seeing a major increase, followed by the second week, which is that's where heavy shopping starts. Black Friday this year is on the 28th, so it's at the very end of the month. So that kind of pushes the shopping season a bit later as well.
It's a late one. I'll see if I can wrong thing. Hang on. Right, got the right one. It is Happy Halloween. For anyone who hasn't seen, this is our sites tool showing the reach of Etsy over the past few months. So we can see, to me, that looks like a graph that's about to pick up, but it's not there yet, sadly.
It has plateaued. It stopped dropping since about mid-August. It's been on the downward decline, and Amazon and eBay had those exact same drops. So it's not like it's just Etsy that's down. It's all marketplaces that are down right now. Financial insecurity, all those types of reasons. And you could see it. There were a couple like larger drops, and it started to plateau a couple weeks ago, and it's still in that plateau phase. It hasn't started to really rise yet, but the drop has stopped, which is what we needed and what we were expecting.
Exactly. So that means we're nearly there. Hopefully people are going to start buying. I've out and about, I'm hearing people asking, have you started shopping yet for Christmas and things like that. So people are thinking about it. It's still a little early for some people. It's not, Etsy has had earlier mad Christmas seasons, holiday seasons, but this year's not going to be one of them.
Yeah. And think about your own spending habits right now. You're probably not out blowing a bunch of money just for fun. And unfortunately, if people aren't gift buying, then that's usually what purchases on Etsy are. Most are made for fun. They're little self-indulgent purchases. Obviously, there are some necessities on Etsy, but for the most part, most of us are buying things because we feel like it. And
more luxury.
Exactly. And when it comes to holiday purchases, I've had a lot of people say that they don't think that Etsy is going to pick up. It will, because no matter what, if people are going to spend money any time of year, it's going to be holiday time. They're not going to skip buying Christmas gifts. I mean, that's the one thing. They'll put it on credit cards. They'll make sure that they're buying Christmas gifts. Now, that's not to say that it's going to be the greatest year ever on Etsy, but don't let the numbers right now scare you. Things will pick up. But like we've been saying, just be aware that it might not be a fantastic, magical holiday if it's your first holiday season.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Thanks, Tech Perch. In the UK, we're bracing ourselves for the Chancellor's statement. And if the rumoured 2% is going on tax, so that explains something about the UK. Past year or so, I've been ignoring the news, apart from Etsy News, no things to do with that. But so that explains something. I suppose this is a good time to pull up the graphs of the quarterly report. It's opening the wrong thing every time.
I haven't seen anything, not even a lick of it. So I'm excited.
Oh, cool. Well, this is just my famous graphs. Oh yeah, they're on. I was trying to open them. They're on slides. So this is the usual one, the Etsy revenue and GMS from 2017 to current. So the blue line is the GMS in billions. It's two scales overlaid just so they sit together and look pretty. But the blue line is GMS. That's how much has been made by us selling things on Etsy, basically. And the orange line is the revenue. That's how much Etsy's made out of all of those sales. So,
which is showing that investors are happy. Sellers, not so much. It has been on the decline for a couple years, and that trend is keeping up.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, investors might be happy in the moment, but I'm sure that investors are also getting antsy because this can't last.
They were complaining last year in the call. They were complaining about the sustainability of this as a business model. So yes, they want to make their money, but if these lines keep on diverging, there's going to be a point where sellers stop being here, basically. If we start, well, not start, if we're too much of being the product that Etsy's trying to make the money out of. I will say these figures are the revenue of Etsy as a whole. It's Etsy and Depop just now. Yeah, Reverb was sold last year, earlier in the year. So this is the full figures. Etsy numbers are slightly better, but it's not great.
But one thing that is still trending from pre-pandemic is the holiday season jumps. Compared to pre-pandemic, there was just a little boost at Christmas time, and then it would drop back down. But during the pandemic, those spikes are huge. And so hopefully that maintains. Last year was a slightly smaller spike. This year, hopefully we can get that back up.
That's it. It's always been a spike ever since 2017 when I've been seeing these numbers. There's been a spike, and as Brian says, even though last year was a smaller spike, it was a bigger spike than any pre-pandemic year. So we still expect to see a spike. And this is the take rate. That is just basically that previous graph, the gap between the two. So basically the percentage of the revenue that's coming in that Etsy's, the percentage of the GMS that's coming in that Etsy's taking as its own money. So yeah, it's been an interesting trend over the past few years for sure. And here's the ones that Etsy don't share, but we steal the data. So the GMS, so how much has been sold on Etsy divided up by all the sellers on Etsy. This is the one that surprises people. So this is sort of the average that a seller makes on Etsy. So for the quarter, for 3 months, it was just over $300. When we take out all the other figures, take out all the Depop. For Etsy alone, it was $442 for Q3 on Etsy.
Which means the average seller's making about $150 a month, and that's it.
Yeah.
Woo.
And that's the average seller. There are sellers that are like a Caitlin Minimalist kind of thing is making in the tens or a lot more than that, 1,000, and that brings down the average for everybody else as well. So if you're making less than $150 a month, that's you're in around the average.
Out of curiosity, I'll run a poll in the chat real quick to see how many of the sellers in the chat make at least $150 a month.
Yeah. Laurie's saying that's much less than I thought it would be. I'll give you a secret. I showed this to our clever people, the behind the scene developers, a few months ago. I showed, and their response was pretty much the same. We know it feels bad, but I think in our head, you almost feel that everybody else is doing so much better than you. But it's really, on average, it's not as good as you think. But Etsy has always been like this. It is a side hustle for a whole load of people. And also bear in mind, although the Caitlin minimalist are dropping everything down, there is also a bunch of people who are going to come in and make 2 sales to their mum and then quit, basically. Yep. There's a lot of people that don't do that much. So it's not impossible at all to get nicely above the average if we work on it. I think most of us can. I'm usually above the average. This quarter I have not been. It's been awful.
But do you have a slide for GMS per buyer?
No, I usually do, but I didn't.
Okay, so in this quarter, there the take was, I don't remember what, $2.8 billion in this quarter, and the number of buyers has dropped significantly down to 93 million from 96 million, which actually brings the average per year that a buyer is spending to $116. So a buyer is spending an average of $10 a month, and that's it.
This is from Etsy. I knew it was on the slide. GMS per active buyer, what they're considering, is $121. So,
oh yeah, my numbers included Depop as well. That's right.
Yep. Yeah.
But that's how much. That's a yearly amount. So buyers are spending $121 a year, which means $10 a month. Yeah. So when we see the badge on, like, many people have started seeing the badge in their messages saying a top buyer badge. A top buyer is not spending that much money.
Yep. And that's my last little graph out of the ones I managed to get out, is the ratio of buyers to sellers. Obviously, we want this number as high as possible, especially when they're only spending $10 a month. We need a lot of buyers. So it's down at around, I think it's 11 and a half. But the reason my graphs show everything and not just Etsy alone is Etsy wasn't giving all the data out for just Etsy, but I've managed to dig out some of it now. So the ratio of buyers to sellers for Etsy only is 15. So there's 15 buyers for every seller, basically. But they're only, which
again, that's just the average. So some sellers will have thousands a month and some will have one.
Yeah, but it does sort of add up if they're buying about $10 worth a month and you've got 15. So for 3 months,
there's
your $150 right there.
Yep. So
thankfully our chat, it appears that I mean, it was 42 votes, so not too bad, but 69% said that they make more than $150 a month.
That's because you're all subscribed to eRank. And you understand how to do keyword research. You've taken much further steps than a lot of sellers have. A lot of sellers just list things and hope for the best, but that's not how Etsy works.
Yeah.
And so you guys have taken those steps to actually improve your shop much higher than just that average.
I would agree. I think that it's a mindset that sellers have. They're not just sitting and twiddling their thumbs.
Oh yeah, that wasn't a sales pitch. I imagine all of you already have an eRank Pro subscription. Otherwise, what are you waiting for?
That was the sales pitch.
That was the sales pitch.
But you're doing more than the average seller, because you're even here just listening to two stylers and a Pam. So that's most people aren't doing that. Well, look at that. It's double the amazing advice from Starla today.
See,
Starla
we
has
could have done
twice the
Pam.
advice of a normal Starla.
We could have done Pam, but there's no way that we would have been able to find the wig.
I tried. It's impossible.
Did you really? Aw, that would
I
have
was
been
going to
great.
do a costume switch halfway through. It was a whole thing, and
Aw.
then I was going to get a white wig and then dye it. It turned into a huge endeavor that I ran out of time to do.
I think I'm greatly underestimating how much time you spent on this.
Well, this
It's
wig
been
came
so
like
much work.
wavy. Mandy
you
had to boil this to make it straight. It was a whole thing. Finding the right color, because it's Halloween, so most of them are either like bright red or bright orange. Finding the right color was very difficult.
Man, and I could have touched it up and it would have matched perfectly. Here I feel like I should have touched up my hair before we started the stream. I
Like,
thought I
Starla,
was
here's what you could
I
have had.
had the piercing. Unfortunately, it's just glue dotted on there, so it doesn't stay. And I wasn't going to commit. Well, I wasn't going to commit enough to get a real piercing.
What about the
it's maybe
tattoos?
not got good eyelash glue.
Apparently, I can draw one on.
Yeah, there you go. Just not it.
Brilliant.
It's gonna look like a mole, like a beauty mark. There you go. Now,
it's not as shiny. Kind of
And
works.
while you're there, you need to do the eyeliner. So we're just today's a makeup channel.
Originally, Mandy was going to do like a swipe of like the orange. I'm not good with my eyes being touched, so I didn't know if that would work. Plus, I was wearing the glasses, and I'm like, would that work with the glasses? And that was my excuse to not have someone touch my eyes.
You need the camera.
Fair enough.
But trust me, it was thought of.
Now you look like a witch.
We do have witch hats, but that's a different story.
Well, let's see. We also have the news of the new CEO. What do you guys think about that?
Yes, that was the big news that Starla dropped on me when I couldn't do anything about it.
Cautious optimism. That's the term.
That's what it has to be. That's what it has to be. I mean, anytime there's a big switch in the administration, you know that there's going to be some major changes that come right away as they carve what they do. She was already the president of Etsy, and I think she had another role, but she's also been the CEO of Depop since 2022, and Depop has seen a rise. So it's very possible that she can do the same thing with Etsy, as long as she's into the handmade vintage supply idea of keeping it for us instead of for AI slop or drop shippers and everything else that seems to.
A lot of people were saying that they're hopeful for her for vintage. She's been very good for that. So yeah, and hear other people saying this. Hopefully she can dust the AI off. Actually, Josh had some good points in the Q&A at the end, talking specifically about the ChatGPT integration. But when an AI is looking for something, it is what Etsy's been talking about trying to do forever, was to have, the front page of search not having lots of duplicate listings and things. But an AI is going to be so much better for that. If you say, I want a unique gift for my mum, it can look and go, well, that's not unique. That's in 40 different places. Here's a unique thing. It's going to be much faster at hopefully showing the unique things.
Well, that's the problem with AI, is there's so many different uses. The use that most people don't like is creating AI art. But AI can't be dropped completely, because AI makes it better for the buyer and better for the usability and all of the other things. Any image recognition, all that stuff, that's all AI, or what we call AI. So all of that is actually required, but AI products are what we're not liking. So it's tough to say yay for AI and also boo AI at the same time. But
right.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people are like, well, I wish it would just go away. Here's the thing. The worms are already out of the can, and it's very unlikely that just if it were to be regulated, it should have been regulated a while ago.
Yeah.
So the fact that we're already used to it and we've adapted to it, I doubt it's going anywhere. So we can
marketplaces like Go Imagine said right off the bat, no AI.
Right. Exactly.
They are not as large as Etsy is, of course. They're just a small fraction at the moment, but you have to kind of it's hard to put the worms back in the can. It's a lot harder to do that once you say this is allowed and then you pull back on it. I mean, that's what happened with the adult content from 6 or 7 months ago, where certain things that were adult related were allowed, and then all of a sudden they weren't. A lot of sellers got banned. A lot of sellers started scrambling. That was their whole business. They might have inventory. They might have molds that they made. They might have so many different things they put into this business. And then Etsy's just like, nope. So people were still selling it, and I believe still are selling it, and just hoping they don't get caught, because I was allowed to sell this, and now you're saying I can't. And
there's one thing from. Oh, sorry, Starla.
Oh no, that's just things change.
Oh, I didn't say anything. Don't worry.
Stop it. A question that was asked, the 8th question, I kept notes, was asked about insights for the ChatGPT integration, because they're obviously tracking it already. Now, the results are very small, but they've seen a really good growth spike. But what's more important even is the conversion from this AI shopping integration. They're seeing higher conversion even than when people are going on search. I mean, obviously search is high conversion because people are searching for something they're wanting to buy. But on ChatGPT, when they're getting the Etsy integration, they're even more likely to buy, which is amazing, because this is a new scary thing, but people are just diving straight in. And for anyone that's wondering, was told to us, if people are buying through ChatGPT, it's still using Etsy's payment things, so the person will show up as just a guest checkout, just normal as if they'd been anywhere else having a guest.
But it is not considered an offsite ad.
We're not getting charged for it or anything yet. It was, there definitely is the feel that this will probably come in and be similar to offsite ads eventually, but they're wanting to build it up just now. And lots of really good points about this as well. I think this is quite an exciting thing, because they're saying they're in first with this. They're first to the table with ChatGPT. They're talking to them and building this process, so you can sort of guide how things end up if you're the first people there. So it is definitely, and what they sort of alluded to, but AI search is kind of bouncing off how Google's done things. And one thing that it really likes before showing results is authority. That's an important thing. And they were saying, for something like ChatGPT, it wants to know it's sending people to a good place. And so just being part of Etsy gives you some level of authority, because there's some sort of backup. It's not a random website you don't know if it's a dodgy website or not. Now, we're not saying that Etsy's perfect, but it has that kind of level of authority. So it could get surfaced more by the AI over time.
And even when things are dodgy on a marketplace like Etsy, there is still purchase protection. So the buyer is a bit more sure of that they will be covered if they don't get their product.
Right.
Amber, who I don't know if you could even sell on Etsy because your name is Amber, says it would be nice to be able to filter AI generated images, though, as a shopper gets frustrated to try and find art that isn't AI. Unfortunately, Etsy doesn't, the AI that's looking at images can't determine if something's AI. So Etsy doesn't even know if something's AI unless it's mentioned in the description or the title or something like that. And relying on sellers to say this is AI when they know that that's going to decrease their sales. Yeah, it gets tough.
It's a tricky one. But that is a good point. A lot of people think AI written content or produced content is spottable. by other systems. Now it is, if you're looking at a knitting pattern and you can see stitches that are absolutely impossible and not knitting, or someone has 16 fingers, you can look at that and say that's AI, but there's no little telltale signal on your piece of literature that you hand in at school or something that anyone can be able to look at the back end of it and say, oh yes, that was AI generated.
There is bad AI. There is AI where you can look at it and be like, yeah, that's AI. It has a 6th finger, or there's little telltale signs. There's also, if you deep dive into an image, you can probably find out that it's AI, but a lot of it is, but AI is constantly learning. That's the whole point of it. And it's getting better and better and near impossible to detect.
Yeah.
Even video.
Oh, Anna, I didn't see that. Did anyone watch the Canva drop earlier? I did not.
They've made a lot of updates. I know that because I'm currently working in Canva, and all of the updates so far for me have been very frustrating. I feel like they moved everything around unnecessarily. They've made it very not intuitive. But if there was something in that I missed, feel free to let me know.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested now, but
And then the comment under that is, no, but I noticed Canva elements are flooded with AI overnight.
I'm kind of noticing that there are quite a few, but it doesn't seem any more than what there were before. I've used Canva pretty much every day to build my assets for YouTube and things, and it doesn't. I mean, there are a lot, but I don't know if that was like a literal, like actually overnight.
They said they've announced a bunch of AI features, which is interesting. I have to say, like, was it last year or the year before they brought out the Magic Studio? And a lot of that was really good.
There's some interesting things in there.
Yeah. That's it. We all complain about AI and stuff, and then we all love one-click background removers and things like that.
And that's literally AI.
Yep. Well, it's been around for a very long time. It's the large language and generative stuff that's new, but
it's also calling it AI that is new, because that's like, it makes it shiny and fancy.
Yeah, but it's been around. I remember like about 20 years ago, my friend had an AI. We didn't call it an AI, but it was an AI sort of therapist that we used to play with this when we've been drinking. It was hilarious. But even though it didn't know who was logged in, it always hit on my friend whenever she tried to get therapy through.
Let's see.
So the next thing that dropped is the US pricing tool. And Starla, this doesn't impact you, but Pam and myself, we are now able to, we were always able to set domestic and global pricing, and we now have the ability to make it US as well. So that's one way to build in your tariffs, or any other amount that you want to build in. It's not perfect. The domestic and global pricing tool sometimes does mess up and gives the wrong price. It gives the domestic price for global or global price for domestic. I haven't seen it happen with this yet, because it hasn't been in place long enough for people to even notice that type of thing. The big problem with it is that now you're increasing the price, so that actually increases the tariff amount, and it increases the Etsy fees on it, and there's a whole lot of hoopla around that. But this is a stopgap measure because it's something that everybody's been asking for, because it's very frustrating that there's nowhere to add tariffs anymore. You either raise prices across the board, you raise prices for everybody else, or you're adding it to the shipping. But if you're using calculated shipping, that doesn't necessarily work either. And if you are adding it to your shipping, you need so many different shipping profiles depending on your price points, because you want to charge the right amount of tariffs. So you can't just have one shipping profile. You would need one for basically every $1, every $5 to add in the tariffs to the shipping price, which then just makes it look like almost a bait and switch, where if your product is $100 and it's normally $15 shipping, and now you're adding 35% tariffs, now you're adding $35 extra to shipping. It just doesn't it doesn't sit well with a lot of people. And so this allows you to put it there and put a note within your description saying, if you're in the US, you're going to see your price includes tariffs and whatever else you need to throw in there. So at least this is there. It's not perfect yet, but at least it's there.
Yeah, sorry, I can't even attempt to say your name, but yeah, this was not a political statement, me trying to put a big number in the US. I was just messing about, and then I didn't know there was an upper limit to prices you could make things. I just left it there because it tickled me. But yeah, so
I'm
you can put
guessing the upper price probably has something to do with Etsy's insurance. They only cover so much.
Yeah, so it's £39,644.78 if anybody was ever wanting to know. Yeah, I didn't know that at all.
So this is going to impact everyone who's not in the US. You're going to see that. If you have variations on your listing, you will see each line item in your variations will have the 3 prices for you to enter. And it's convenient. It's not perfect, but it works for now. The US wasn't set up to accept tariffs like on receipt of the item, and so we have to pay tariffs beforehand. So Etsy wasn't prepared to come up with something to let us accept those tariffs. So it's not perfect, but
there's no perfect answer, sadly. So that's as good as we've got. Yep.
But at least
I'll pull up the third thing we were talking about.
Anna did say that with Canva, you can now generate within element search, match the style of elements, and ask Canva to critique your design and change it for you.
Oh, interesting.
So that's interesting.
I'll definitely play around with that. Oh, Jessica says that's also a random US dollar amount as well. It's not just because I was in the UK. Anyway, so this other thing just silently came in. Now, Etsy did say in the investors report that they want to reward top buyers more. This is going to be coming in with the Etsy Insider. They're going to open this up to more top buyers and do something more about that. But this snuck in the past couple of days. It wasn't mentioned anywhere, but in chat, in your messages, if someone messages you that is what they consider a top buyer, the top 15% of US buyers by spend in the past 12 months, then they will have a badge saying top Etsy buyer.
If you don't see that column in your message now, just hit refresh and you'll see the extra column. It's now moving the name out of the normal column, putting it in a separate column with the top Etsy buyer badge underneath that. And there's a few key points in there. It's US buyers only. And a lot of that has to do with GDPR and consumer protection laws across the world. I guess US might not be as strict with it because that is a privacy issue, saying how much buyers are spending. Even though they're not saying specifically how much the buyers are spending, they're still saying they're in the top amount. And so that's probably why it only released to the US, and that's why it doesn't actually tell you if they spend more than X amount of dollars, because that would be against US consumer protections as well. So just the top 15% of US buyers, and that's based on spend. It's not based on number of orders. They could have placed one order. They could have just placed that one order with you. As long as it gets them into that 15%, they will now have that badge.
Absolutely. Now, Etsy are saying this is to help you prioritize messages. So I'm not a big fan of this a whole lot, especially because we still have to answer all our customers' messages. But let us know in chat. Let us know what you think of this. There's been a lot of different opinions. Brian has a whole load of balanced opinions.
I have a whole whack of them, and most of which are not great. You should not be prioritizing top Etsy buyers. It could if someone's asking for wholesale pricing, or that they do spend more money, so that's potentially a good thing. But I can see this abused a lot more. If someone's a top Etsy buyer, the bad sellers are going to be spamming them and doing all the things that you're not supposed to do because they know that you spend money. So I'm going to try and get all of that money from you. There's a lot of pros and cons to this. Unfortunately, in my eyes, it leans more towards con, but everybody has their own opinion on any new feature, any new drop that Etsy does anyways. And that's my opinion. That's Brian's opinion, not Sarah.
Well said. Yes. That's great. You can make her say anything you want.
I feel like, if anybody's seen the episode of South Park with the Yelp reviewers, I feel like it's going to cause, if the buyers are like, well, I'm a top buyer, maybe that'll make them a little bit crappier because they'll get that sense of entitlement.
One of the comparisons I made is somebody walking into a restaurant, and being like, do you know how much money I spend here? Like, you're going to lose my business. And it's like, see, those are the people that we don't want to do business with anyways.
Right. You've never spent money in my shop. Like,
exactly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this could backfire quite probably badly. A good reason that it's there, and we just don't necessarily we just haven't thought of that good reason yet. It could be because of the insider program. There could be something that they're going to tie in later that they haven't told us about, or that they just it's just not obvious to us for some reason. But there's got to be a reason they added it.
Yeah, and every buyer is valuable. There may not be a top buyer now, but might be in the future. And
Etsy's been around for 15 years, and we did not have that information, and I'm pretty sure that buyers keep coming back.
20 years. But we've just looked, we've just seen how little on average buyers are buying, they're spending. So to be in the top 15%, that could mean...
My guess, and this is just a guess, is that it's probably in about the 200 to 250 range. Would probably put them in the top 15%. If the average is $116 a year or $121 a year, then probably about 200, 250 would be the top 15%. Because a lot of people are just buying one digital asset for $2, but then there's the people buying the $10,000 armoires. So you kind of have that range, and I'm guessing it's around that 200, 250 that puts them into that top 15%. You'll see it. It's just like with Etsy sellers, where to get into the top 15% of Etsy sellers, you really only need, 200 or 300 sales. Yeah. And you are within the top 15% of sellers on Etsy. It's that same thing, but just on the buyer side.
So quickly. Yeah. But it's,
and buyers do not know. So I have a separate buyer account that I use, and it does not tell me anywhere that I have that top buyer badge. There's also no top seller badge, but there's no top buyer badge when you're messaging to a seller.
Okay. Oh, and you don't see it when you're the buyer. You don't see it at all. Yeah, but I assume you have it, or have you messaged someone?
I don't know.
Message me and I'll tell you.
I was gonna say I feel like I should definitely be a top buyer because I'm buying stuff constantly.
Yeah.
But as the buyer, I at least no one I've spoke to and myself do not see that you are considered a top buyer. Well, okay, never mind. I'm also not in the US.
Well, here, Pam, I'll message you.
Yeah, we keep forgetting it's only for you US people.
It's weird when things drop and they're not international.
But good point is it's probably that the US has less stringent laws about privacy.
And again, if they were saying a buyer spent X amount of dollars, that probably wouldn't be allowed. But the fact that they say just top 15%, that makes it fine in the US. Apparently, their legal team is pretty good, so they wouldn't cross a line there.
Starla, you're not showing as a top buyer. Oh no, you're not showing as a top buyer.
Man, what?
No, and I've definitely got some. Yep, you're not. I'm sorry.
Now I'm sad.
About 8 of my top 10 of like my most recent 10 messages have that badge right now.
Yeah, you do have to refresh though. When you open it, it doesn't show, and then I've only got one. Oh,
But
so
you deal more with the UK.
Yeah, lately, yeah. Used to not be. It's like 90% of my sales were to the US, but I suppose Josh, one of them in the Q&A did let slip when they were talking about the impact of tariffs and stuff, and they basically said, "Oh, we've got plenty of items, so we've been showing US things to US buyers." Like, right, that explains things then.
And speaking of those tariffs, I just got this email as we went live, or message from Etsy just as we went live saying, we're here to support you following the recent changes to tariff legislation in the United States. In line with this, we're temporarily adjusting the program to star sellers outside of the US impacted by these changes. Since you earned a star seller badge in October, we're automatically granting you a badge for November. And it's the same thing they did for the past 2 months as well.
Yeah, I think that is a good thing, but they're aware that we're struggling as international people are struggling. It has been a difference.
Yeah, you should still be hitting those the targets. You should still be messaging back within 24 hours, at least 95% of the people. You should still be getting good reviews if you can. You should still be shipping on time. They know that there's going to be shipping delays. They know there's going to be delays in shipping out because of the collection of tariffs and the way that different postal systems work. But the main part is the reviews. That's the thing that they're doing this for, because there are likely a lot of negative reviews happening for either delays or just the buyer being charged tariffs on arrival.
Yeah, and Etsy doesn't want to be figuring out how to remove the bad reviews from the star seller. So they're just like, here, have your star seller. It's fine. Yeah. I just see Lee saying, I saw there's going to be an Ask Me Anything with the new CEO. Maybe someone will ask what the purpose of the top buyer is. Good point, though. There is going to be an Ask Me Anything. Debbie, do you remember the dates of that? I think it was next week sometime. Etsy announced this before we knew that this person was going to be the CEO. So it was interesting, like, why do we want an Ask Me Anything with her? Like, oh, that'll be why. Yeah.
And she comes into power on the 1st, I believe.
1st of January. On the
31st.
Yeah. Yeah, 1st of January, and he's going to be the
chairman.
Yeah, the top chair or something for a year, which is sort of like a bit of a handover period. But I'm gonna be cheeky, but for anyone who watched the questions and answers at the end, it was kind of cute and kind of a little bit creepy. But Josh was doing, every time she was talking, was kind of looking like, that's my prodigy, that is. So anyone that watches it, I was just seeing that all the time. But hopefully he's going to support her in making different changes. I don't know what they're all like behind the scenes, but it did look like it. So we'll see. He's there to help, but not to keep guiding the things in the Josh direction. How much change? Well, I was going to say how much changes there can be. There has to be changes because the shareholders are not happy. So even if Josh was still around, he would still have to try and make changes.
Yeah. But also, whenever a new face comes in, they always just do everything differently. Whatever's not working, let's try something completely different and wild, just to make their mark.
Yeah.
No Ordinary Leaf said that she got 8. Well, I said she, might not be she. I got 8 negative reviews from one guy because he had to pay the tariffs.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That absolutely sucked.
With a lot of people that were shipping from UPS, I assume it's international, but I know from Canada to the US, you can ship without the tariffs being prepaid, but then the buyer has to pay not just the tariffs, but UPS's extortionate brokerage fee, which can sometimes be significantly more than the product itself. And that irked a lot of people. A lot of sellers were like, well, this is a way that I could ship things without paying a tariff myself because I didn't charge the buyer a tariff. But then the buyer ends up getting screwed on the back end, and it did not work out well.
Yeah, I think most postal services recommend you buy upfront, because not only is there those extra charges, but it's an extra step, takes longer in customs. Some stuff, people are saying stuff's getting sent back as well.
Or just destroyed. If with UPS, that was a whole thing a couple of weeks ago, where if they can't reach you to ship it back, or it costs too much to ship it back, or they just don't feel like it, then they are disposing of the packages that did not cross the border. Not great.
So sad to say, but guys, you are probably, although there is no simple solution to this, as we're just shown what Etsy's given us and everything, pay the tariffs up front. I know it's not ideal, but it's what we have to do to prevent.
And that's why they're giving us tools like the US pricing tool, adding it into the domestic and global pricing tool. They're doing that for these types of purposes to try and mitigate it as best they can, because there's no elegant solution, and it is leading to bad reviews, unfortunately. Yeah, and that's why Etsy's also giving us the star seller for free.
Yeah, Emily saying, I'm hearing some large-scale sellers are getting big bills from US customs long after receiving their shipments.
That happened. That happened to us. We received a bill in the mail for a package that we'd already received from Australia, I think. It's like PC parts.
I'm guessing it was FedEx.
I'm not sure.
FedEx is known to give the bill later. Like UPS likes to collect it on delivery. FedEx will deliver it and then bill you later for it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That way it's in your possession. What are you going to do then?
Right,
exactly. You could just deny the package at the door.
You can't say no.
Yep.
And yes, Etsy does remove reviews that mention third parties like shipping. So if they mention the tariff, I bet Etsy would remove that because Etsy's aware.
But also, it's not just shipping. If they just say shipping took too long or shipping, they will not remove that. They have to specifically say USPS, Royal Mail. They have to specifically call the third party out by name. That's what Etsy will remove. But if it just says shipping was slow or shipping took forever, then that is a perfectly valid review that they cannot remove according to FTC guidelines.
Yeah, that's who was it? No Ordinary Leaf had said they didn't want to remove reviews. They legally can't. Yep. It's against the law to just remove reviews because we would all be doing it. Like I'm sure we'd all
the negative reviews. Let's just get rid of them all.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's why the Federal Trade Commission in the U.S. and it's specific. That law is a specific U.S. law, but Etsy operates out of the U.S., so they have to abide by that. The FTC says there's certain restrictions on what you can and cannot remove, and that's what Etsy's guidelines actually are. It's based on FTC guidelines. If you are in the EU, there are other rules, and so you can actually get reviews removed for other things that are more EU related to the trade commissions there. But if you're if your country doesn't have those restrictions, then Etsy has to follow just the FTC guidelines and doesn't have to remove a review unless it hits those specific notes.
Yep.
And plus, like, wouldn't that suck if
defeats the purpose of reviews?
I mean, I feel like it's something that we all want, but what if there's a crappy seller out there who's just being a butthead, getting all of their bad reviews removed, Yeah.
Exactly. It doesn't even have to be a crappy one. I think we would all be tempted to do it because you never feel like a bad review. How often do we see people say, even if they got a bad review that they deserved, they've gone and they've made it right with a customer, you expect that review removed, but in reality, the review is right. That was the experience the customer had. The problem is it hurts your shop. If we could just have this and then you better come back and go, oh, thank you for that. We've done this. And the customer come back and go, oh, that was great. Thank you. And you could look and say, oh, they had a terrible experience made right. But now it's basically Etsy goes, 1-star review. We're going to tank your shop for a little while.
Yeah.
Everyone talked about actually being able to get past the chat bots to get a human to review it.
Yeah.
Is that a chat? I've never had a review. I've never had to have a review removed. Do you go through chat? I thought that was just a report system.
Generally, people go through chat, and with the chatbots, you just have to keep going. No, that didn't answer my question. Can I talk to a human? And it'll eventually put you through. It is a pain.
Speak to a representative. That's anytime we call anywhere, it's just screaming at the automated system.
Yeah. It's a pain. Maybe we should make our own little chat box to deal with the chat bots together, and then it can tell you when it's got through to a real person.
I imagine you can create a ChatGPT agent to do that for you, and just wait for a specific response, and then
Absolutely.
But that is the time for today. Thank you for joining Starla, and Pam. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow us, join us in the Facebook group if you're not already there. We do this every Thursday with a different combination of everybody.
Pams and Starlas.
And don't forget to join HAA.
I have a Patreon.
It's opening up in a month and a week, I believe it opens up.
Yeah, December 1st. But we started a Patreon, and that's been popping. We've had a lot of people join the Patreon because I'm doing all of the trend research, trend analysis every month, all the research that I have to do anyway for YouTube videos. I'm like, what if I just put this in a big PDF? And there's shop critiques in there and all kinds of good stuff. But tomorrow during the Friday Bean, we're doing a murder mystery. It's going to be so fun.
Which has nothing to do with vampires or anything. It's a completely separate murder mystery that's happening.
Now,
I heard you didn't buy my book. You didn't sign up for my Patreon. Nothing. It's disgusting.
Pam, there's literally somebody in my Patreon saying to let them know if Pam starts a Patreon because they'll join it.
Thank you. I've had a Patreon since Patreon started. I'm not even sure I know my login.
Well, that doesn't count then.
I know. I had a Patreon.
All right.
And don't forget, check your kids' candy. Happy Halloween, everybody!
Bye.
Bye.